Hello and welcome back to KXAN Plus. I'm your host, Esmeralda Zamora, and with me for today's Tommy's travel forecast is our meteorologist, Tommy House. Tommy, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Good, Esme. How you doing today?
Good. It's a Sunday. We're recording this on Sunday, November 16th, so it's
hmm
Sunday moods, you know?
You getting ready for the holidays? That's coming up fast.
Yes, and I'm sure a lot of people are getting ready, buying their last minute tickets or deciding whether they're driving or flying for the holidays.
Yeah.
And I think weather is impacting that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see some active weather here across the next few weeks. That's really going to dictate a lot of travel plans leading up into Thanksgiving week itself, which I can't believe is a week and a half, but
I
uh,
know.
it's nuts. We'll start first, actually, with the current temperatures in the metro area. So this is the big weather pattern here, but we're going to actually start with temperatures a little bit closer to home if these graphics can have a little bit of cooperation here today. Our record for today, which is the 16th, is 87 in Austin. It's 86 as of we're filming this around 3 o'clock. So I think we will get pretty close to a record high, which was set back in 1938. And it's been very warm here. We've had the 80s. Yesterday was in the upper 80s. We're about 1 to 4 degrees warmer than where we were yesterday. So overall, this weekend is very toasty. And what we're going to see across the next few days and even weeks here, week or two in central Texas, are some big changes. That includes rain that's back in our forecast, especially midweek, and we could see some severe weather too.
Well, Freddie, we did mention travel plans. I mean, Freddie, Tommy, you say it's a Sunday. My
It's
week
okay.
is just getting started. We did mention travel plans.
Yes,
So let's take a bigger look at what
sure.
weather can impact travel plans for this week or this coming weekend.
Yeah, so look at this graphic here, the active pattern. This was the first graphic. We have a ridge over us here in the southern plains, which means a lot of warm temperatures and blue sky. As you saw over Esme's shoulder with the Austonian, we have just a gorgeous day today, a little bit warm. But those red L's, those are our active weather systems that could bring some rain and cooler temperatures on the back end. And as we play this through slowly the next few days, you're going to notice a few different things. That high pressure ridge is gonna move to the east across the deep south. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Mississippi, Alabama, you're flying to Atlanta, Florida, record heat by midweek. At this point, though, we're going to have a big dip in the jet stream by the Four Corners. And that means for us here in central Texas, we're going to be getting some strong winds, some heavy rain, and even the ingredients for some severe weather. That's going to be Wednesday night through the day on Thursday, Friday, even into Saturday, we have rain chances. Um, and we haven't really had a lot of rain, just one day so far this month, and it was just like 0.12 inches. So climatologically, we have a lot of work to do. On just the month itself, we're about an inch and a half behind normal, 7 inches behind normal for the year. So the drought is just continuing to get worse. This was Thursday's update. Extreme down toward Canyon Lake, San Marcos, Fayette, severe in the Austin area. So we'll talk about the specifics once we get a better idea of like the high resolution data come tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. But through the next few days, as may be warm and sunny, but by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, things will change, especially for flying out of Houston, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio.
Tommy, can you jump back 2 slides back to that high pressure, low pressure
Yeah,
map?
sure.
For our viewers who aren't sure what high pressure and low pressure means, can you
Yeah.
give us a brief rundown of what we can expect when there's a high pressure over us or when there's a low pressure
Yeah,
over
excellent
us?
question. So the blue H means blue skies. So where you have that blue H, high pressure ridging, that's just a lot of sinking air. It means it's just going to be warmer and not a lot of clouds, plenty of sun. Some humidity for us here in central Texas across the deep south, and that red L, that's a storm system, low pressure, typically associated with rising air. We're talking clouds, we're talking rain. The right ingredients can form some severe weather, the clashing of the warm air and cold air masses. And this shows with the active pattern a big dip in the jet stream, which allows for cooler air to spill in. When that, of course, meets the warm air, that's what catches our eye for some severe weather. So the placement of this low pressure will determine who gets rain. We think right now that a solid at least 1 to 3 inches plus in northern Texas, the Red River Valley, Arkansas, Missouri, and most of this middle later half of the week. But certainly a disruptive for plans if you're driving Austin up I-35 to Dallas, Oklahoma City, Fayette, Arkansas, St. Louis. This is where you're kind of in that bullseye. Pretty much anyone from the Midwest, Austin, all the way up toward the Tennessee Valley, Ohio River Valley, could be dealing with some very heavy rain for the later half of the week.
And does this mean that we'll have any flood warnings or flood watches here in Central Texas?
Yeah, great question. So right now, the Weather Prediction Center has a level 2 out of 4 flood threat for parts of our area. I would anticipate definitely localized street flooding is a possibility here. Our rain chance is a little more confident, around 70% for now. And 2 out of 4 or 5 days out is certainly a signal for some flash flooding. Very different setup than what we had in July. That was tropical remnants. This is like more of a quick moving system. We have rain for several days in our forecast, but very different situation setup, nothing like that. But this could cause some localized street flooding. We'll have a better idea in the coming few days. But, even across most of the lower 48, Esme, the green means wetter than normal.
Perfect.
Yeah, right. And so much of the country, the exception is maybe a little bit of the California coast, is expected and is forecast to get wetter than normal conditions, wetter than normal. Just think of that as some rain. Each place has their own what is normal, right? But here in Central Texas, like a half an inch to an inch, I think, is for now a good expectation through the next 7 days.
Yeah, and that drought monitor that you showed, it looks like we do need that rain, and hopefully we do get that here in Central Texas. But would you say that this rain that we can expect this coming week can stop some traveling, stop some planes?
Yeah. So lightning's the biggest concern. That's probably going to be more of a Thursday problem. And then these medium range computer models aren't too specific on, lightning intensity and things like that. But what I can do, Esme, is I can show an overview of what's happening. So today we have some snow, lake effect snow up toward the northeast. Their weather makers clearing out, and then out toward California and the Pacific Northwest, they're getting some showers and storms. What we'll see in the coming few days is that same area of low pressure, I'll draw that red L, is going to try to work its way a little bit closer to home. So as we work through Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday, this is when you factor in a few different things. First, a lot of Pacific moisture. You got moisture from the Gulf. You have cold air coming in from the Rockies. It's just this kind of textbook setup for some strong storms. Snow for, the Denver down toward even New Mexico, getting some mountain snow. And then through our area, so our neck of the woods, we're Oklahoma down towards central southern Texas. Not really much for the valley. Where I circled is where I think we'll see some of the heaviest rain. That moves by Friday, Saturday, Sunday into the Midwest. So if you're traveling next weekend for the East Coast, that could be something that can get a little bit dicey by this next weekend. Here, though, I think our rain chance isn't going to be as strong as Thursday. So I know Thanksgiving weekend before and after are very busy. So we'll have to really watch this closely.
Yeah. And I like how you touched a little bit about the snow in certain areas.
Yeah.
That was my next question for you. I'm planning a trip for Christmas with my family, and we are going skiing. I've never gone skiing, and I wanted to ask you if it's too early to know if there's going to be snow in the mountains in New Mexico.
Yeah, I think there will be. It gets a little bit tricky with the forecast past 7 days. The 3 to 4 week temperature outlook is showing some cooler air. December looks to be, for now, a bit more wintry across the country and colder. The signal is there for some good mountain snow in the Rockies. So yeah, I think it would be a good trip. When it gets to like specific temperatures and like what the weather will be that day, that's where it's
a little rocky.
Yeah, rocky, right? No pun intended. In the meantime, though, Esme, let me pull up the temperature outlook for this next 6 to 10 days. We're talking record-breaking heat.
No.
Georgia, Florida, Carolinas, Mississippi. I don't think beyond today we'll get record-breaking. Maybe next Wednesday, Thursday, before the front. But even our front's a Pacific front, so it's not even going to be like Arctic air that crashes in like a few weeks ago.
Is it going to be like a fake cold front?
Sort of. My 7-day, and these are Freddie's numbers this morning, so I'm still putting in my numbers. He has temperatures in the low 70s, but that's where we should be. So I think it's just going to bring us back down to normal. But in the meantime, a lot of warmth. If you're traveling across the eastern seaboard, like that darkest red shading is, let's see if I can draw it here.
Near Florida?
Yeah, Florida, Atlanta, Savannah, Jacksonville, Jackson, Mississippi. But still, the red is just higher confidence. And then there could be some cooler than normal temperatures, SoCal, Arizona, Nevada, Vegas. So traveling out there may not be as perfect California weather as you're hoping for.
So lots of heat this week, some possibility for rain. We also have a weak cold front coming in later.
Yeah, so the Pacific fronts they come in from west to east. Let me see if I can pull up a setup here and show around Thursday itself. So Wednesday into Thursday. Okay, so typically there are two types of fronts here in Central Texas. You have the Pacific cold front, and I'll draw that with a line, and you get some drier air that comes in a westerly breeze. These don't bring crashing cold temperatures. This is more of a drier air, so not as humid. Very humid today, very humid for the next few days.
Yeah.
And when I show you, the keyboard is so sensitive, but if I were to show you dew points across the next week here, notice how they crash Friday into Saturday.
Yeah, completely. Way lower.
Way lower. So that's an indicator of a Pacific front. Now, when there's like an Arctic front, the setup would be more of like a front that comes in from the north and moves south. So this is not that setup. I'm trying to think. Do you remember earlier? Maybe it was earlier in the month. Maybe it was in October when we got down to like the 30s.
Yeah.
That was an Arctic front that moved through. So this is a Pacific front. It'll just bring in some less humid air, which is good.
I believe we had a Pacific front early October, and then we got that second front that was a little colder, put us in the 30s.
Yeah.
So this front will be much like that first front we had in October.
Yeah, and some long-range computer models have an Arctic front maybe past Thanksgiving here, but it's just too far out. So we just focus on 7 days here at KXAN.
Yeah.
But obviously, for those who want the colder weather, it will arrive eventually. It's just going to take some time. I think Thanksgiving is going to be maybe more seasonable in the 60s and 70s. Record-breaking heat for now, the next 3 days. And then we'll have to see how rain and storms shape up around Thanksgiving itself.
Well, hopefully things change and things move. We know that always happens with our weather in Central Texas. So
Constantly changing.
Hopefully we see that again. Tommy, we have your article here on our website, KXAN.com. It is titled Active Weather Pattern Emerges. Is there anything that is in this article that we didn't get to talk about or mention here on the stream?
No, it's kind of just a visual grab for those who maybe missed something or they wanted to go back and explore and learn about what I just said, showing just the graphics, the rain totals, and forecasts always change, right? New data, it comes into the computers. So, tonight, even for my 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock shows, I may have new data. And then, tomorrow morning when meteorologists come in, I think tomorrow morning is going to be Freddie and then Nick tomorrow evening. We'll see some adjustments to the forecast. For now, though, it looks like warmth followed by front moving in midweek and some rain chances. And I think the rain chances we have high confidence in. It's just the specifics, who's going to get storms, the specific elements are still up in the air. It doesn't look like a big hail maker, more of just some rain and some wind. But we'll have those updates for you.
Perfect. And where can we see you tonight?
So 5 o'clock on KXAN, 9 o'clock on the CW, and after the game at 10 on KXAN. So probably around 10:30 to 11 is when that show starts.
Okay.
But KXAN Plus will have all those recorded and ready to roll for you.
Yes, and this show was recorded on November 16th. I do want to mention that to everyone, Sunday, November 16th. But we will have this live on our app, KXAN Plus, for anyone to rewatch or watch until the rest of the week. Tommy, thanks so much for joining me, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, thanks, Esme. Take care, y'all.